Okay. Good evening. Good evening and welcome to the 208th annual meeting of the Athenaeum Shareholders. My name is Joan Countryman. I am a vice president of the board of directors of the Athenaeum. Our president, Ned Scharf, who is recovering from back surgery, and he's listening to us as well. He's very sorry to miss this event, and he wants you to know, however, that he's resting at home, and in the long run, he will be just fine. He also wants you to know that our board of directors is strong and that the Athenaeum is in great hands, his, and the hands of the rest of us, especially under the dynamic leadership of Beth Hessel, our executive director. And I would like you to meet Beth now.
Good evening. I think we have all met at one time or another. Some of you I have not met since we were wearing huge masks and face shields, and when you take them off, everybody looks different. It is so lovely to see all of you tonight. It's amazing to me, we have about 1,200 shareholders, and no matter what, we always get 150 to the annual meeting. I'm assuming many of you are the same 150 who come each time, and for that, I'm grateful because you are our faithful members. So it's wonderful to see you this evening. I want to welcome you to the Athenaeum, where we nurture curiosity and strengthen community through learning and discourse. I'd like to welcome tonight, especially some of our new shareholders who are here for your first meeting. If this is your first annual meeting as a shareholder, please raise your hand. I want to welcome you. Welcome. And Carrie Bryan, who just came in, we're applauding you also. So glad to have you here. I want to just quickly go through. Look, it's really amazing the number of new shareholders we have. You can take a look at these names. If someone is a neighbor or a friend or a colleague and you did not know that they were a member of the Athenaeum, well, this is a good reason to reach out and give them a call or a text and say, hey, welcome. We'll have to meet up here for coffee sometime. These are all people who have joined since our last annual meeting. I hope everybody's seen someone they know. Yourself. We are so wonderful you're here. We're so wonderful, glad that you are part of this very special community as you embark on your first, or maybe you're starting your second year as a shareholder. I hope you will find that the Athenaeum is a place you want to call your home and people you want to call your friends for a long time to come. I'd love to hear from you. Who here has been a member for 50 years or more? Few people raising their hands. That's amazing. What about 25 years or more? Oh my goodness. What about you've been so long you just don't even know, you've lost count. Every day and every year is a new one at the Athenaeum. I want to thank you all for being here. I also want to thank all of our staff and board for their tremendous efforts to make the Athenaeum the amazing place it is. You're shareholders because you know how amazing it is, and it wouldn't happen without our staff and board. Since our last annual meeting, we've said goodbye to some of our staff, to Denise Fox, Candace Hesselbart, Rob Jagiella, and Natalie Guerin. Some of them have retired or finished their degrees and gone on to full-time jobs or moved on to other opportunities. They were all wonderful staff members, though, and we all miss them very much. But at the same time, we've got the joy of working with some new colleagues. I hope you've had a chance to meet them. There are some seats up here and in the very back, so please come on in. We have welcomed Miranda Mekaton, who you will see if you want to check out a book while you're here. She's at the librarian's desk. She's our extended librarian. Al Lazinski and Valerie Roach, both of whom help out at the front desk and are great at giving tours and welcoming people who want to know more about the Athenaeum. Tonight, we're going to be welcoming in some new board members, but we also are saying thank you and a very sad farewell to the board, but not to the Athenaeum, to 5 directors who have served faithfully on terms that range from 6 to 32 years. I am so grateful to David Brownlee, and I'm going to call your name, please stand up. David Brownlee. Peggy Duckett. Penny Hunt. And Satoko Parker, who is not able to be here today for some health reasons, but she has served for many, many years also. Satoko, thank you. All of you have brought your experience and your connections to the worlds of art and preservation, academia and fundraising, as well as great kindness and collegiality and time to your service. Each of you has helped me in my 4 years here so far feel welcome at the Athenaeum and supported us in the work we have done. So thank you. I'm going to miss all of you very much on the board. It's been a pleasure to work with each of you. There's a 5th member, I did say 5, Ned Scharf. Our board president, who is with us on Zoom tonight. He gets so much credit for the invigoration and rising visibility of the Athenaeum over the past 6 years. As president of the Athenaeum for that time, he helped us shape our vision and our goals. It's really been an honor to work with him. He brought me on to the Athenaeum as your executive director, so if you have an issue, you have to talk to Ned about it. But working with him together, we have strengthened programming and services, we have grown membership, and we have undertaken the recent renovations that help our beloved institution put its most glowing face forward to our city and our community. I'm so sad that Ned is unable to be here tonight to celebrate our many achievements with us, but thank you, Ned. When I came on as the executive director, Ned said to me that his goal was to be my best volunteer ever, so I'm going to hold him to it as he goes off the board. So you will probably see a lot of him around here if I have any say in it. Well, this past year, since our last annual meeting, has been an exciting chapter in our history, and those of you who are waiting, there are seats in the back and there are some seats up here in the front. Please come in. Don't worry about disturbing anybody. We don't want you having to stand, so please come in. It's been an exciting period. If you were here last year, you remember that we unveiled our building project and our capital campaign to much enthusiasm, and we have completed it in time and on budget, and we are living into this wonderful space now. For 5 months, though, this past year, 219 South 6th Street received royal treatment to restore her exterior to its original beauty. And you can see that here, where you see it behind behind the scaffolding. We even put a time capsule. Thank you to Tess for organizing a time capsule. And you can see Noah, who was one of the leader of the conservation progress, under our steps. So tell your kids, tell your great nephews, tell everybody that behind the steps is our time capsule, in case we all forget where it is. There's a time capsule there with some fun stuff in it. And I picked this picture. Joe Elliott, who's an amazing photographer, has been taking the photographs for us for our preservation of this work that has been done. And I just think this is a marvelous photo which shows you the restoration of the woodwork as well as the stone. You can see the different colors of the stone there. And so I wanted to show that off. It is a beautiful, beautiful building. I think we'd forgotten how beautiful it was. Most exciting is that we have been awarded by the Preservation Alliance a grand jury award for this restoration project. And I hope you'll be there. It's an exciting moment. Paul Steinke is here. I'm sure if you want to buy a ticket from him, or he'll send you where you need to go to get a ticket to the Preservation Alliance Awards ceremony next month. I hope you all come to celebrate with us this wonderful achievement.
Superb job.
Thank you, Paul. I personally didn't do the work. I think a special thanks for all this work, though. Sitting in the back, running the filming, the woman who does everything is Christina Doe, our building superintendent, who was here every day by 7 in the morning and stayed as long as she needed to work with both the interior renovation team and the exterior restoration team. Christina, stand up, please. That woman is amazing. She is amazing, and then don't you dare try to steal her away for a job anywhere else. In the past year, as part of that project, we said goodbye to the old. Christina, again, she helped clear out. A lot of this came from our basement, where there were probably about 45, 50 years worth of junk. We cleared out the junk. We took away the bricks and the walls that were blocking our way to better community. We pulled up floorboards in order to install electrical outlets so that people can make use of our space so that we can move forward. And our new spaces speak to what makes the Athenaeum unique and meaningful to so many people. A library that has been providing access to the best in literature and periodicals for more than 2 centuries, and one of the best places to research and learn about the impact of Philadelphia's architecture and architects upon our city and our world history. It is also the most beautiful indoor spot in Philadelphia, hands down, to read, work, relax, build friendships, or be inspired. If you haven't come on a Saturday, this is what it looks on a Saturday now. We are no longer a mausoleum. And I'm so grateful for that. There are so many places here, and this picture, I love it, Tess caught some of you sitting, everybody reading the newspaper all at the same time in the member lounge. I hope that gives you ideas if you haven't come here yet to do that. So many of you have celebrated our reopening in November, and since then our building has been abuzz with electricity. Since we reopened in November, we have welcomed more than 300 new members at all levels. And that number was from a couple of days ago, 318. We're probably more like 322, 23 now. If you want to put that in perspective, between 2014 and 2021, we enrolled 675 new members, or an average of 84 new members a year. So our new members, as well as so many of you, are taking advantage of these wonderful spaces and helping the Athenaeum to live and be a really meaningful place. So this is very exciting. Our board would ask sometimes before we embarked on this, what's our capacity? We haven't reached capacity yet, even with all these members. There's still room for you to come, to bring your friends, and use our spaces. On top of that, you all are using the circulating library, both physical and electronic items, at record numbers. This past year, we circulated more than 5,000 items, including retrieving items from the University of Pennsylvania for you shareholders. 1 year ago, we also started a youth collection, and we currently, in the chest room, have 145 items and growing, as well as electronic books and items for youth. And this coming Saturday, we'll barely recover from the annual meeting, we are having our 2nd annual Children's Book Fair. So there'll be authors, there'll be workshops, there'll be activities, and a lot of book vendors here. So if you have kids or friends or neighbors or grandchildren or anybody that you want to bring with you, come on Saturday and enjoy our book fair. You have shown your attendance, and through your attendance, that your favorite programs these days are our more informal gatherings like First Fridays. And yeah, this is fun. You might see yourself on the slide. First Fridays, our gallery talks, and our new Member Mondays, where you come if you want to donate a bottle of wine. That's great. And just come and enjoy some wine and little nibbles and get to know your neighbors. People love those events. They're very popular these days. Our Opera Philadelphia lectures and concerts from Allegro and the Allegro Presents Chamber Concerts, and the Sunday in the Square concert in Washington Square, and there we see Paris in the spot of honor. Paris is one of our favorite puppies who comes and visits. Have been very popular, as well as our newest collaboration with the Philadelphia Classical Guitar Society. So we have a lot of music, and these programs are always sold out. When we reopened the building, we were able to host an exhibit of Matisse's Jazz, the first time it had been shown in completion in Philadelphia since it was published back in the 1940s. And this was in conjunction with the Philadelphia Museum of Art and the Barnes Foundation's exhibits. This was a very exciting exhibit and successful. It was a new venture for us into exhibiting the fine arts collections of our members in tandems with shows in museums in the area, and hopefully we'll be able to do things like that again. The staff continues to analyze data and feedback and trends to bring you a carefully curated schedule of programmings and exhibits. Now, this coming year, we will focus on increasing the opportunities for all of you to meaningfully connect with books and ideas, with our collections, and with one another. In order to do so, we will continue to seek out and plan high-caliber programs that engage your brilliant and thirsty minds and provide more intimate settings to connect with each other. We will care for our beautiful spaces so that they continue to inspire you, and we will guarantee that our fantastic staff who serve you so well has the support and resources that it deserves. We want to ensure a strong future for our beautiful institution. While our board and staff are two threads of the narrative that creates a strong Athenaeum, you, our shareholders, are a vital part of this storyline as well. As Joan will be saying in her talk, and Adele Gorilla, our vice president, who is giving the financial report in lieu of Michael Horgan, who just ran the Boston Marathon this morning, we have a lot of moving parts tonight. The Athenaeum relies on the gifts and contributions and dues of our members to maintain our building and our collections, our staff, and our services. We cannot complete this current chapter of the Athenaeum or future chapters without you. So thank you for all that you do to ensure our support. We know we have come to you a lot in the past year. It's been an exciting year with a campaign and all the changes, but it's also been a fiscally challenging year, a financially challenging year for us as we grapple, like you, with hits to our investments and increases in the cost of everything. Knowing this, one of our members has made an anonymous gift of $40,000 as a matching campaign challenge. They have given us this money, they said, if we can raise by May 31st, dollar for dollar. I feel like I'm on NPR right now. Dollar for dollar. We're counting down the hour, right? I'm going to start doing this on a podcast, and you all can listen where we're at. Dollar for dollar by May 31st, if we can make this $40,000 challenge, we will maximize that gift. And so I want to encourage each one of you, and if you know anybody else who's a member and is not here tonight, to invite them to also help support this campaign so that we can make sure that we make our budget and end the year strongly at the end of this fiscal year, which ends in June. An email will go out to all members tomorrow inviting everybody to join, and a follow-up letter will also come, but I'll invite you. You can give tonight. You can go online. You can hand me a check. You can hand Tess a check. If anybody wants to write another check for $40,000, I will happily accept that, as would everybody else in the room, right? So I want to thank our donor for this opportunity, and all of you also for continuing to support us so that we can continue to provide the services and the staffing. I know that I'm looking forward to this coming year without any major construction. It's a huge relief, just the construction going on next door. But also looking forward to having a strong focus on serving all of you and on nurturing curiosity and community in this magical place. So I thank you all for being together here tonight. Go back to slide, John.
Well, I'm tempted to say, I think that, is that next slide coming up?
Yes. Oh, I don't know what it is. I'm sorry, I kind of pushed too many. Yeah, close your eyes. Don't miss
There we go, there we go. First of all, I'm tempted just to say, well, we have had Ned as our board leader, and he brought us Beth, and we're in good shape for that reason. So what more can I say? I have a few things more to say, but excuse me, as I mentioned in the beginning, I know that Ned is sorry not to be here, but he certainly has been the center of all the excitement and activity that we are so proud of, that has brought about this lively growth in membership and exciting developments in the building and programming that is a little demanding because you want to come to every single thing. So we are and should be proud of the Athenaeum's growth and progress in the last few years. Those of you who've been around for a while know that the membership had been in slow but steady decline for years, and the programs and the services that we were offering were good, and the Athenaeum was often described as a hidden gem, which is nice, but that probably meant that people thought it was empty as well, which some of the time it was. Ned suggested to me that one of the reasons it was empty was that there weren't enough chairs to sit in. Imagine that, a library with no chairs. But now, after this renovation, we have plenty of chairs, and we have comfortable ones, and we also have outlets for the laptops that you bring, because what's a library without enough outlets anymore? In any case, I think that's a partial explanation for why the membership numbers have been exploding, as you saw in one of the earlier slides, ever since the building reopened in November. The ranks are growing steadily, again for the first time in decades, perhaps because it's clearer that our mission and our vision and our strategic plan are all on target. Some of you know that I've had a long career associated with independent schools and other nonprofit organizations. As a teacher, and I was a teacher for many years at Germantown Friends School, I began to say to the graduating seniors, don't assume that the school will survive without your support. And frankly, I think the habit of giving should start then, even if what you can give is only $1. Now, I must say, it's been a while since I retired from teaching, and it's been a while since I left GFS to do other projects, but the students who heard me are, I'm proud to say, often telling me how much it means to them to be able to be part of supporting the school financially, as I suggested they might. And that goes for all nonprofits, it seems to me. We do need support, and you can trust that, for example, in this wonderful organization, we use the funds that are available, we use them wisely and in ways that we think will enrich your lives and the lives of others in the city. So, we should talk about our finances, and we have Adele Guerrillo, who will tell us what's happening.
Thanks, Joan. And thank you, Beth. Apologies, I have a little bit of a raspy voice tonight. Like our dear president, Ned, since I know Ned is watching, I do want to take just a minute to say thank you to Ned as well as to Beth, because I discovered this hidden gem walking past the door, decided to step in and ask, what is an Athenaeum? And so Beth pulled me in and said, let me show you around. And I was immediately hooked. I joined as a member, and then Beth called Ned, and the next thing I know, I was on the board. So I'm very happy to be up here tonight and be able to give you the treasurer's report, despite the fact that our dear treasurer is also on his back, at least I hope so, after running the Boston Marathon. So I am standing up here in Michael Horgan's place, and he's prepared a script for me. So this has made my job very easy. And if we have a slide up there, I've negotiated with Beth that she keeps the numbers very small, so you can't ask too many questions. So it is good to see all of the shareholders here. But first, I also want to thank Beth and her staff for a tremendous job on increasing the operating results in the last few years. It has been a difficult social environment as well as a difficult economic environment. And in the midst of that, and rapid onset of inflation, they have still managed to keep advancing the mission and its services. Beth's already given you pictures of all the programs where I've seen many of you in those photos, so I'm glad you're taking advantage of it. And they're doing this while maintaining a balanced budget. In fiscal 22, so last year, you've all seen massive renovation. Not the full extent of what we wanted to do, but major improvements to the structure. That we've done interior, exterior, expanded program, longer hours, and lots of other services. As a result, the Athenaeum is becoming a much more welcoming and engaging institution, and one that we should all be proud of. Again, that's ancient history now. This year, which began in July, and as Beth mentioned, only has a few more months to go, has turned out to be even more difficult from a financial perspective, with tenacious inflation, stubborn financial markets, my day job, and the broad economy, which is putting pressure on all of us. We have seen the building's costs have risen, so some of that is up on the slide in front of you. And so has the endowment value. which the endowment constitutes half of the operating budget. So we do thank you for all of the donations that creates that ability to support the budget, but we also still need donations. And we know that it's something that we're all facing together, but in the interim, Beth has tightened the belt around here, and Beth and Sue Clover, our wonderful accountant, and our entire board, has worked diligently to maintain a very conservative approach to spending without impeding progress in the programming. And given the shortfall in operating cash, we have labored long and hard over the budget this year and expect to do the same in this coming year, making hard financial decisions about everything from payroll to program offerings. Speaking of our endowment, and I do want to mention, we have two of our newly appointed investment managers in the audience with you, so you'll have to find Adam and Bob later during the reception, and you can pepper them with questions about what's happened to the market. I'm throwing them under the bus. But in recent months, the investment committee has spent quite a bit of time together to revamp the investment policy and practices. We put out a request for a proposal from a number of managers to bid for our business, because the Athenaeum has not changed the investment manager for a very long time, if ever. But we did select PNC. We're very excited to work with them. Already, we've had really strong support from them in trying to maneuver through this environment, and as a result, improved results. That does replace Vanguard. That was our longstanding investment manager. And for the longer term, there are plenty more building enhancements that we'd all like to see happen, that are planned to make the space even more useful, even more welcoming, and dynamic in its offerings. But again, that's for the longer term. We'd actually planned for larger renovations this past year that were a bit more expensive and extensive than those that we completed, but we did scale back due to mostly to inflation. Beth made these adjustments look easy, but I assure you, it took long and deliberate work to adjust our capital spending to the economic realities and achieve the spectacular results that we are seeing and enjoying. So, Beth has already put this announcement out there. Joan reiterated with her comments about it has to start early and often, but we do encourage you to continue to support the Athenaeum in its operating and capital needs. And through astute management, Beth has continued to enhance all that everyone does here for us and for the community, while maintaining fiscal responsibility and broad affordability and accessibility. Hopefully I didn't do that. I may have hit the mouse pad. Apologies. I'm very happy to see you in the room so that I don't turn off the Zoom on all of us. With the needs that are out there, we encourage you to give, and I'm happy to take any questions if there are any out there. If not, come find me at the reception. I'll be here. All right. In that case, I'll turn it back over to Beth.
I have similar worries about technology, Del. I'm sure something will go wrong, so it's fine. We'll survive. Next, Scott Donahue, Chair of the Governance Committee, will give a report of the work of that committee.
Good evening. Before I give my report, I'd like to present a gift that the board contributed to Ned Scharf. Beth is coming up, and it's actually, if I can reveal what it is.
You want Nancy to come up?
I think Nancy should come up, Ned's wife.
Nancy is with Ned's beautiful wife.
Yes, yes. It takes two of us to hold it. It's so heavy. I wish it wasn't wrapped so you could see what it is, which is a beautifully framed photograph of the Athenaeum at night, now beautifully lit up, of course. And I think it's a very appropriate gift for Ned.
Oh, he'll enjoy it.
Yes,
I
yes.
know, I
And
know.
we'll help you get this home.
Thank you.
Okay? All right, my report is very brief. With the departure of the 5 directors that were mentioned previously, we had 5 openings to fill on the board this year. We had 27 nominations, all fantastic people, but we had to choose 5, and those 5 are Nancy Moses, Matt Rader, Bernard Resnick, Ralph Rosen, and Jeff Cohen. We also nominated Jeffrey Cooper and Michael Horgan to full terms. They had previously served out partial terms. I'm happy to say that we've had enough proxies come in to vote them all in, and we look forward to their service on the board this coming year. Thank you.
So before we move on, I'd like to invite our new board members to stand up so people can see your faces and know who you are. So a clue for all of you, if we've got a blue name tag, we're staff. If someone's wearing a big orange one, they're a board member. So if you have a question about anything about the board, pinhole any of them, particularly pinhole the brand new people, because they won't be able to give you a great answer, but they'll make something up and then they'll have to share it at the next board meeting. We'd like to invite now, this is the exciting time of the evening, the Literary Awards. See here, I tell you. Technology is not my. I turned this off so I wouldn't be changing things, but yes. Dan Traster, I believe you are here to give the. Why don't you come on? Safer for the technology if I stay here? No, because people won't be. I think the problem is we have the laptop here and we put things on top of it and it starts changing things around. But Dan Traster will come to announce the Art and Architecture Award for 2022.
Lots of people seem to be reporting for others, and I'm standing here in the absence of the subcommittee's chair, Dr. Satoko Parker, representing the Art and Architecture Award Committee. This year, faced with several remarkable books, we couldn't choose just one, but instead chose 2. John Lobel's The Philadelphia School and the Future of Architecture.
I'd like to thank you.
I told you it would be safer if I stayed.
I know. Maybe put your paper right there.
Okay. John Lobel's The Philadelphia School and the Future of Architecture, which is a volume in Routledge's series, Research in Architecture. And from the University of Pennsylvania Press, Laura Wolf Power's study, University City, History, Race, and Community in the Era of the Innovation District. Both books concern Philadelphia, its built environment, its architectural and urban history, the influence of its architectural teachers and theoreticians on the city's built fabric. They also suggest some of the relationships between Philadelphia's architectural and urban planning pedagogical history and the city's recent and ongoing redevelopment programs and projects, their impact on and reflection of national and international practice, and they're both well and engagingly written, considering topics we felt were central to the interests of the Athenaeum and, we hope, its membership. Lobel's Philadelphia School and the Future of Architecture is the first significant scholarly work focused on the Philadelphia School, a remarkable group of loosely affiliated practicing architects, teachers, and their students flourishing between about 1950 and 65 under Holmes Perkins, Dean of Penn's Graduate School of Fine Arts. Lobel is himself a product of that program. He explores the local setting, architectural history, and the broad intellectual context that contributed to the formation of the school, illuminating its profound influence locally, nationally, and internationally. Did I do it again? Those contexts contributing to the formation of the school, illuminating its profound influence locally, nationally, and internationally, famously exemplified by its most notable members, including Louis Kahn, Robert Venturi, and Anise Scott Brown. Wolf Powers University City considers West Philadelphia, first during a flush, post-war era, and immediately after, and again during the present century. Two local institutions, Penn and Drexel, one beginning in the 1950s, one in this century, developed plans to expand, change, and improve themselves and their environs. Implemented during periods when government funding dwindled, regulatory oversight decreased, and private finance and profit imperatives took over, and often conceived in ignorance about or indifference to how they might affect marginalized neighborhoods and marginalized residents in their paths. These plans altered West Philadelphia, its demographics, and built environments in ways that did not always justify the optimism with which they were begun. Their history exemplifies that of many such federally initiated innovation districts across post-war and recent university and research-centered landscapes. The books complement one another, concerned with both late 20th and early 21st century Philadelphia, its theoretical and practical influence on architecture and city planning, its urban planners and designers as these faced fiscal and regulatory shrinkage, unconscious or conscious racial bias, and a felt imperative to grow, to expand, regardless of certain human costs. Their fascinating introductions to some of the issues Philadelphia continues to face, and perhaps to think about. I think we can now, if I haven't damaged it irreparably, turn to screen videos of our winners accepting their award.
I'd like to thank the selection committee and the Philadelphia Athenaeum for recognizing my book, University City, as a co-winner of the 2022 Art and Architecture Book Award. This book is a product of archival and ethnographic research that I conducted between 2015 and 2019 at a critical moment for redevelopment planning and civic mobilization in the neighborhoods adjacent to West Philadelphia's academic institutions. My approach is to combine an interpretation of contemporary political debates about the benefits and costs of redevelopment with an analysis of historical events, namely the struggle in the late 1960s over the University of Pennsylvania's decision to demolish a majority Black neighborhood to create the University City Science Center. My hope is that the book's juxtaposition of development politics in two time periods will provoke public conversations about how, in the present, to conduct economic development planning and building in ways that make cities accessible to all and that respect the need of all people to thrive, regardless of whether or not they are university affiliated or associated with the acclaimed knowledge economy. Again, I am humbled and honored to receive this award, and I thank the Athenaeum, its staff, its members, and its shareholders, and its board of directors for this honor. Thank you.
Thank you to the Athenaeum of Philadelphia for your 2022 Art and Architecture Book Award for my book, The Philadelphia School and the Future of Architecture. And I'm delighted to share this award with my colleague, Laura Wolf Powers. In 1950, G. Holmes Perkins arrived in Philadelphia to bring the architecture school at the University of Pennsylvania into the modern era. He made it part of his mission to do the same for the city and the profession, creating a unique synergy. I had the good fortune to arrive at Penn in 1959 to receive the finest architectural education of the time, the opportunity to write about it, and now the honor of this award in recognition of my efforts. Thank you.
Beth is allowing me to end with one irrelevant comment. Satoko Parker should be presenting this award, prevented only because she's recovering from a fall. This was her last year chairing the committee. She's also leaving the Athenaeum's Board of Directors, as you've now heard at least twice, after over 3 decades of service to this institution. Clearing the deck for the committee's next iteration, Samuel Streit and I are also leaving it. When I told Beth of that decision, I said that I leave it with many thanks. To Satoko, of course, as well as to all the other committee members with whom I've served. To Sandra Totman and Peter Kahn before Beth, and to Beth, for the welcome and the generous opportunity all of them offered me to serve the Athenaeum in this way. Thanks also to Sandra, who allowed Sam Streit and me to mount or to assist in 3 Athenaeum exhibits. I don't speak for Satoko or for Sam, but were they standing here as they should be, I suspect they would say something similar. It's been an honor, and I thank you all for it.
Thank you, Daniel. Daniel, Samuel Streit, and Satoko Parker did serve tremendously faithfully, reading hundreds of books every year for the Art and Architecture Award, and we're so grateful to them for that. Now, for our literary award, we had a little, if you noticed, we had, since we announced the 4 finalists, we had a little raffle going on. We invited people to vote for which one they thought should win. I'm going to draw a name from here, from someone who submitted, and that person is going to get a signed copy of the winning book. So we'll see if if the person who wins is actually here tonight. We'll find out. And then you're going to find out who actually won the award. Nancy Mendelson, is she here? No, but Nancy Mendelson is going to get a copy. Those of you who did not read next year, pay attention, and when the finalists come out, this is one of our new fun things. But I'm delighted tonight to invite up one of the jury members for the Athenaeum Literary Award, Kathy Moses Shelton, who has the honor of introducing and announcing the winner of the 2022 Athenaeum Literary Award. Welcome, Kathy.
Good evening. I'm Kathy Moses Shelton, a member of the Literary Award Committee. Since 1949, the Athenaeum of Philadelphia has recognized books of outstanding literary merit with an annual literary award. This year's jury fine-tuned the guidelines of the 2022 Literary Award to honor books of excellence by Philadelphia area authors, as well as books that focus on the city of Philadelphia. Winners are chosen by a panel of Athenaeum shareholders who serve voluntarily, reading scores of books and regularly meeting to deliberate on them. The committee evaluates each book on its genre, the quality of writing, whether it offers a fresh point of view. Have we learned something new? Is the book engaging and accessible? Does it invite conversation about our city and our world? And does it offer something special or distinctive? The award comes with a $1,000 cash prize, as well as a public lecture and a reception. Previous winners have included many of the region's most celebrated authors and thinkers, including Catherine Drinker Bowen, Edmund Bacon, Chaim Potok, Camille Paglia, and Stephen Fried. In February, the Athenaeum announced a short list of highly competitive finalists for the 2022 Literary Award. They are Fellowship Point, a work of fiction by Alice Dark Elliott, Benjamin Franklin's Last Bet, the founder's divisive death, enduring afterlife, and blueprint for American prosperity by Michael Meyer, Gangsters of Capitalism, Smedley Butler, The Marines, and the Making and Breaking of America's Empire by Jonathan Katz, and After the Ivory Tower Falls, How College Broke the American Dream and Blew Up Our Politics, and How to Fix It by Will Bunch. Tonight I have the distinct pleasure of announcing the winner of the 2022 Athenaeum Literary Award. It goes to Will Bunch for After the Ivory Tower Falls. I'm going to tell about you.
Oh, okay.
I'm
So,
going to
actually, I'll sit
log
down
you.
and wait.
Sit down and.
Oh, okay.
Will Bunch is a veteran political journalist and recipient of many awards, including sharing a 1992 Pulitzer Prize for reporting on a deadly subway crash at Union Square for New York Newsday. He's the national opinion writer for the Philadelphia Inquirer and is senior writer for the Philadelphia Daily News. He is the author of 2 previous books on politics. They all have very long titles. Tear Down the Myth, How the Reagan Legacy Has Distorted Our Politics and Haunts Our Future. And The Backlash, Right-Wing Radicals, High-Def Hucksters, and Paranoid Politics of the Age of Obama. In his latest book, After the Ivory Tower Falls, How College Broke the American Dream and Blew Up Our Politics and How to Fix It, Bunch asks and answers questions about the nature of the university in the United States today and how it can move forward in a more equitable manner. Bunch traces the history of college in the United States, beginning with the first technical schools available through the post-World War II landmark GI Bill and the culture wars of the 1960s and 70s, which found their start on college campuses. He examines the resentment of college-educated elites as it morphed into a rejection of knowledge itself, and how the climb in tuition and the explosion in student loan debt fueled major social movements like Occupy Wall Street. Bunch then takes the questions of what and who is college even for, and who's going to pay for it, and pushes it into the 21st century by proposing a new model that works and is accessible for all Americans. This book stood out from the competition for its timeliness and its importance to society. Not only is it enlightening, but it delivers a solution to a thorny problem. And the writing was brisk with great clarity. Now I'd like to introduce you to Will Bunch. Will we please come up here?
Thank you so much. I'm told I have 2 minutes before the music plays me off, so I'll try and be quick, and you've already heard a pretty good description of what the book is about, but I do want to use my time, first of all, just to thank the Philadelphia Athenaeum for this wonderful honor and for inviting me to this wonderful event. And special thanks to the selection committee, because I can tell you put in a lot of work, and I know a couple of the books that were also finalists along with mine, and it was a pretty tough field. So it's quite an honor to be selected. Another honor, and another reason why I'm not going to speak for very long tonight is I get a chance to come back here on September 14th to give a talk, and I guess I'd certainly like to invite all of you to come. And just a preview, what I'm likely to be talking about, in addition to the themes of my book. In my book, as Kathy said, that I argue for how to make college more accessible to more people and how to make it more affordable, which is a big crisis in this country right now. And the goal is the advancement of knowledge in this country. We face so many issues, such as climate change, for example, where we need knowledge, we need know-how. And unfortunately, it's fitting to win this award because the Philadelphia Athenaeum has been in that business for 209 years. You're doing the work in terms of advancing things like critical thinking and the importance of knowledge and the importance of learning. And what I'll probably be talking about in September is the bad news is some of that is under threat right now. Some of your I guess cousins, I would call them, in the public library world these days are under assault from people who are attacking the very foundations of knowledge. And it's a very dangerous time. And just as we need a better college system in this country to advance knowledge, we need our libraries and we need resources like the Philadelphia Athenaeum. So it's an honor to be here with so much history. It's funny, I just texted my literary agent as I came in. His name is Will Lippincott, and as you might guess from his name, his family is the people next door are the Lippincotts. So he was pretty excited to see I was in his old neighborhood, and it's just awe-inspiring to be among so much history tonight. It's a great honor to win this award, and like I said, I hope I'll see as many of you as I can in September. Thank you very much for having me.
Richard Bartholomew, I'd like to invite you to come and speak about our dear friend. Hi, Mars.
Well, congratulations to John Lobel if you're watching from New York. John and Hi Myers and I were all in the same class graduating in 1965 from Penn, and I guess we're all products of the Philadelphia School. Hyman Myers died last October at the age of 81. He graduated in 1964 from Penn's 5-year program in architectural engineering, and after he received his degree, he spent another year at Penn earning a master's degree in architecture. During his student days, he developed a passion for historic structures. High's interest in old buildings and their preservation was unusual at that time. He was educated as an architect during the heyday of modernism and urban renewal, which typically resulted in the demolition of old buildings and the construction of new modern structures. The first program in historic preservation was at Columbia and was not founded until 1964. Penn's program followed in 1982. The National Historic Preservation Act was not passed until 1966 in response to the demolition of Penn Station in New York. For 40 years, High was a partner in Vitetta Architects and Engineers and founded the Preservation Group at Vitetta in 1974. Under his leadership, the Preservation Group won over 100 awards from national, state, and preservation organizations. He worked on the restoration of the Pennsylvania State Capitol for 28 years, Philadelphia City Hall for 14 years, and the National Gallery of Art in Washington for 25 years. He also worked for 15 years on Philadelphia's Bellevue Stratford Hotel, preserving its historic fabric while adapting it to a mixed-use project. Other notable projects in Philadelphia include the restoration of Frank Furness's Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts for the bicentennial, the restoration of the historic Reading Railroad train shed and its incorporation into the Pennsylvania Convention Center, the restoration of Philadelphia's historic Academy of Music. He starred in a television special, A Walk Up Broad Street, in 2005. You can view highlights of High's professional career on a panel on display somewhere in the reading room at the reception. In recognition of his many contributions, High received the Preservation Alliance of Philadelphia's James Biddle Award for Preservationist of the Year, the F. Otto Haas Award from Preservation Pennsylvania, and the John Harbison Service Award from the Philadelphia chapter of the American Institute of Architects. He served on the boards of the Philadelphia chapter of AIA and was president of the Philadelphia chapter of the Society of Architectural Historians. High Myers was a pioneer in the field of historic preservation, both in Philadelphia and nationally, and was named a Fellow of the American Institute of Architects for his contribution to the field. He was dedicated to the Athenaeum and was a longtime shareholder, board member, donor of historic materials, and valued member of the Superintendent's Committee of the Athenaeum. Thank you.
Sandra, High's beautiful, wonderful wife, is here this evening. She is still a shareholder, and she asked me a few months ago, noticed that High's name was still up on the board of directors on our website. I said, I can't bear to take it down. Every time I go on and I look at our directors on the website, because I can never remember, keep everybody straight, I see his name and I think, should we take it down? Not yet. It will be coming down now, but he was a beloved member of our board for 26 years. He touched everybody's life with his wit, his wisdom, his knowledge, and we miss him dearly. We've also lost other friends in this past year since our annual meeting. These are the names that we have of our shareholders we have lost. If there are names that are missing, please let our staff know, especially at the front office, so that we can update the list. But we take a moment to remember these lives and the many gifts that they brought to us and our community. They've left a hole in our lives, but we also celebrate all that they brought. So we'll just take a moment. So give thanks for our neighbors. We also give thanks for everybody who is here. And I'm going to turn over to our wonderful Vice President.
Thanks, Beth. It's my job to bring this annual meeting of shareholders to a conclusion. So may I have a motion to adjourn? And a second? And all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you all for coming. It's been a lively evening. We remind you that there's a reception. I'd also like to remind the board members that there is a brief meeting right here at the conclusion, and then we will all gather together and